Welcome to another go-around of Soccer's in Session, Playoff Daily Live, presented by our friends at Kaiser Permanente. John here, you there. And as always, once again, thanks for hanging out with us here for this hour as we run as fast as humanly possible through all your brackets and get you ready for now the semifinals. Now that the quarterfinals are done, we're going to catch up with some coaches coming up here on the show. Megan Hill, the head coach at Buford. Aaron Paul out at Morgan County. But first, batting leadoff, it is Heather Richardson, the head coach at Social Circle, and it's always great to catch up with her. She's got another big matchup coming up. Coach, welcome back.
Hi, thanks for having me.
All right, so last time we talked, it was leading into round number 1 as Team 4, ranked number 5, took care of Haralson County 4-0. Then it was knocking off Dodge Team 13, 7-1. You did that at home. And then Dade came to Social Circle. You got the win 2-0. What have you learned about yourself in these 3 rounds?
I feel like with the team and myself, we've gotten a little better each time. Even though the scores look kind of weird, I think our game, our most recent game against Dade, we played the best that we have in a while. We moved the ball around well. We passed the ball around. The score doesn't look like it, but we really played well. So I'm good. I feel good about that game going into the next game.
And that next game is against Bremen. And Bremen, Team 1, ranked number 1. You look at the left-hand side of the bracket in Class A D1 girls. This is 2 heavyweights. How much studying do you get in? Does everybody kind of know going in? Does Bremen sit there? Does Jason sit there and go, yeah, I know Social Circle? Do you sit there and go, yeah, I know Bremen? What's the mindset?
Yeah, I do think we definitely know each other. We played each other earlier in the season. And we ended up losing that game 4-1, but we were tied 1-1 at halftime. So I've done a lot of studying. The girls have done a lot of studying. And we have some things we're going to put in place, do a couple of different things to hopefully come out on top.
I was going to say, what did you learn about yourself coming into that matchup? In a matchup like that is non-region, that's an early season test, how much of that is experimenting or just kind of seeing where you are against top flight competition? Obviously, you want to try and win it, but how much of that is trying to figure out where you are at that point of the season?
For us, it was definitely where are we at this point in the season, and because of that game, I've done a few changes, and they've been positive changes. So even though we lost that game, it was probably one of the most beneficial games we played all year.
16-5, 9-1 in region play. You've only given up 25 goals now all season long in 21 matches, and so 25 and 21, that's 1. You're having me do math. So 4 over 21 is like a 1.2. You mentioned that matchup, and it's you look at that game there that was kind of tucked in with the matchup with Jackson County and Walnut Grove before you end up going with the playoffs. So you were done with your region play at that point. So you had UAA, Bremen, Jackson County, and Walnut Grove to wrap up the season. So it seems like you did want to learn a lot about yourself after the Lamar County loss in region play and then winning UAA. It's literally going up against Bremen, Jackson County, and Walnut Grove. It looks like you did want to try to figure out some things heading into the postseason.
Yeah, and even though those last 3 games didn't come out for us, they were a positive in a lot of different ways. We learned a lot about ourselves. We had to buckle down and play really hard, and it really I think those games prepared us for a game like we're going to have tomorrow.
How do you, in a situation like that where region's done, pretty much what's going on, how do you break that news to the players? It's like, okay, it's a yes but situation almost, where yes, you do want to win, but you're challenging yourselves. Don't get necessarily wrapped up in the result, because in the grand scheme of things it doesn't matter. Just get wrapped up in what you're trying to learn. How do you pass that message along to your players?
It's a hard message to pass along, I tell you, especially with the girls I have, because they're just so passionate about winning. But there's a lot of them with a lot of experience, and they understand the ebb and flow of a season, and they understand the process that it is, that it's really a process. And it's great for your record to look like you're winning every game. But if you're not winning, if you're not learning anything from that schedule that you have, then it's not helpful at all when you get deep in the playoffs. So I think I have some older girls who definitely understand that, and they help the younger girls understand that. But it takes a lot of talking from me to help everybody understand it.
Yeah. And is it different coaching now when you're trying to have messages like that than it was, say, maybe even 5 years ago, one graduating class through? Is coaching and messaging different, trying to get them to understand certain aspects of it's not wrapped up in all of the wins and losses? Yeah, they're great, but we got to focus on other things. Is messaging and coaching different even, say, 5 years ago?
Oh, absolutely. And I think I've even learned from 5 years ago that it's not all about your wins and losses all the time, that you really learn a lot from the teams that you play. And the schedule that you put in place is really important. And it helps prepare you for the end of the season. And it's a difficult message to get across, but it's one that's important, I think. And one that I've learned from, 2017. I think we went to the Final Four in 2017, but our record was not great. I think we lost the first 6 games of the season. And that was a learning lesson for me even. So,
I mean, so you lose your first 6 that way through, and it was, you mentioned it's a learning lesson for you. Are we talking scheduling, approach, philosophy, practice? What did you learn from then to now?
I learned that just because you're losing doesn't mean that when you get in the postseason, it's going to be it can't be a positive result, because we were playing bigger schools. The first 6 games of that season, they were bigger schools, and they were just preparing us for later. And I even didn't quite understand that, because that was my first. I think that was my first season I coached at Social Circle, so I hadn't made the schedule. And when I looked at it, and we were losing, I was like, oh my goodness. But then once we got through region and got in the postseason, I was like, oh well, I think that actually helped us out a little bit. So it was learning for me as well.
11 different goal scorers for you this year, but I know everybody gravitates toward Alana Ferguson, who last time I checked, I think just had under 60, 57 goals this year for her. What has it been like to see her this season? And then obviously I'll have the follow-up about her career itself, but what's it been like to see her in her senior year?
It's been great. She's played great. She does a good job for us at the striker position, and I don't even think on her club team that's really the position that she normally plays. So she's taken that role for us, and she's doing a great job. And even in the last game, we won 2-0, but she didn't score in that game. But she had, I think, 2 of the assists, the assists for those goals. So she's just a great player for us, whether she needs to score or whether she needs to pull back and help us out and pass the ball around. But she's been fun to watch this year.
Do you remember your first impression of her when you got her out on the practice field?
When she was in 9th grade?
Yeah, when she was in 9th grade.
Yes. Just my first impression was this girl is very fast. She is definitely going to do some good things for us. I just didn't know how quite good. She's always been just very quiet, and she does the job that she's been asked to do. And this year, coming into her senior year after graduating, Peyton and some other seniors, like it was her turn, and she needed to step up and be that person for us. And she's done a good job with that.
When I mention this senior class specifically, what sticks out in your mind?
Just how far that they have come and the accomplishments that they've had. And I told them this, at the end of our last game, they have 4 region championships. They've made it to the Final Four 4 times, the state championship game twice. So they just have accolades that doesn't happen all the time, that they don't need to take for granted, that it's really a big deal. And I'm very, very proud of what they've accomplished.
Have you thought about their legacy, even though I know the season isn't over? Regular season is, but have you thought about the legacy that they're leaving behind?
Yeah, just a legacy just for the younger girls to, I hope, want what they've accomplished so that we can continue that, just continue what they started and just keep pushing forward every season, just the winning tradition. And they're so passionate about the team and everything. It means so much to them. And I talked to them at lunch just a few minutes ago, and they were like, Coach, we're so excited. We're ready to go. I'm like, well, just chill out, because it's not till tomorrow, but I'm glad you're excited.
So you have to travel when it comes to other things that you have to navigate. It's a lot easier navigating, a home match and everything. It's like, okay, everybody needs to be here at this time to do this and do this and do this.
Right.
When it comes to traveling, and I'm what I'm doing while I'm talking to you is I'm setting the path. I'm trying to figure out, okay, how long is it to go from Social Circle to Bremen? And I'm trying to do this on lovely Google Maps. And so the Google Maps machine is telling me that it's 93.5 miles if you left right now,
right,
to go out I-20 to go to Bremen. So hour and a half or 2 hours with traffic, depending on time of day. Have you figured out your travel plans, navigating academics with departures and things like that? What is the day looking like so the student athlete can get done what they can, and at the same time hop on the bus and get out to Bremen in one piece? How are you plotting how all of this is going to fit together?
There's a lot that goes into it actually, but my admin is great, and they think of things like they've come to me and said, "Well, this kid and this kid has an AP test on Thursday at 12 o'clock, so they're going to need to take it on the makeup day on May the 19th, and then we have some kids taking AP US history on Friday morning at 8. Are they going to get home too late? Do they need to take the makeup test on May the 20th? It's an hour and 45 minutes to get there. Do I want to get there at 4 o'clock? Do I want to get there at 4:30? Do I need to get there at 3? And I think when the seniors were in 10th grade, I think the Final Four game when we played Paideia in the Final Four, we got there so early just because we were worried about the Atlanta traffic. And I was like, this is too long to be sitting here. So hopefully tomorrow I got it timed just right, and all the road work and the traffic in Atlanta will cooperate.
Yes.
And we'll get there in just the right amount of time where we're not running late, but we're not there too early. So yeah, it's a lot. And we got food coming, got to feed them before we go, but can't be too heavy. So, there's a lot of stuff, but it's fun. I'm glad we're here. I'd do it over again all the time.
And that's why I like to ask these questions about all of the stuff that folks may not know about when it comes to orchestrating all these things, so everyone can understand all of the effort that goes in on the field, off the field, and in the academic element of it when it comes to the administration.
We're right in the middle of testing right now with EOCs and APs and all sorts of testing. Yep.
Yikes. Yeah, I'm not going to comment about my AP European exam. I'm not going to comment on that at all. All right. So the travel plans, when are you leaving? When are you getting there? When's the match at Bremen? Let everybody know.
We're getting out of class. The girls are excited, but they still think they should be getting out earlier at 1:30 tomorrow. We're going to get some food down at the field house and leave hopefully by 2 o'clock, and hopefully get there by 4:15. Then we can get taped up and have a few minutes to walk around and then get going.
Well, it's going to be great to see what's going to happen. It's going to be Titans on the left-hand side of the bracket, Class A Division I girls, Social Circle, Team 4 ranked number 5 in the scoreboard rankings. Going to Bremen, Team 1 ranked number 1. Coach, as always, it's great to catch up with you here on Soccer's in Session, especially when we go live every day during the playoffs. Be safe. May every test come out the way that it's supposed to. Get safe to Bremen. Have a great contest. We'll catch up with you on the other side. Thanks, as always, for dropping by.
Thank you so much for having us.
There goes Heather Richardson, the head coach at Social Circle. And so, once again, looking at Class A Division I girls, Titans across the board. And like I said, here's my bracket. So Class A D1 girls, Social Circle at Bremen, and that one is tomorrow. Girls are tomorrow when it comes to all of your semifinal activity. Boys are Friday unless there's a schedule for a doubleheader or things like that. So Social Circle at Bremen, left-hand side of the bracket. Model travels to Ace Charter. Model knocked off Thomasville by the score of 2-0. And so Model went to Thomasville, got the win. Team number 6, ranked number 2, travels to Ace Charter, who is Team 2, ranked number 3. Ace Charter knocked off East Lawrence by the score of 4-0. So you have in the rankings number 5 at number 1, and you have number 2 at number 3. That's Class A Division I girls, and that happens tomorrow once again. Model at Ace Charter, Social Circle at Bremen heavyweights on the left-hand side. Class A Division II girls, just so you know, it is ACA traveling to Irwin County. Irwin County beat Elite Scholars 3-2 at Buddy Nobles yesterday in Ocilla. So Irwin County gets to host, since they are Area 1, Team number 1, ranked number 7. They host ACA, Atlanta Classical. They went to Screven County, went all the way out to Sylvania, got the win yesterday, and so it is ACA ranked number 5 at Irwin County ranked number 7. That one is tomorrow. LOA is ranked number 3 as Area 5 team number 1. They beat Portal by the score of 5-1. Portal came in as the number 6 ranked team in the scoreboard rankings, and they came in as Area 3's team number 2. LOA travels to Tryon. Tryon ranked number 1, Area 6's team number 1, had the first round bye. Shut out Greene County, and then shut out Claxton yesterday by the score of 4-0. So it is ranked number 5 at ranked number 7, ranked number 3 at ranked number 1. So that's what you're looking at with Irwin County hosting in Osceola as Area 1 team number 1. ACA is a team number 3 out of area number 6. That's the left-hand side of the bracket. Right-hand side of the bracket, LOA, number 1 team out of area 5, ranked number 3. And then Tryon once again, area 6, team 1, ranked number 1. That is Class A D2 girls. Now let's go to AA, let you know what happened there. And it was all Columbus all the time. Well, that's on that's in AAA. Sorry, I'm a class ahead of myself. We'll get to that in a second. So Coahulla Creek went to Drew Charter, shut out Drew Charter by the score of 3-0. So Coahulla Creek advances, and they go to Zebulon to take on Pike County. Pike County, no problems with Sonoraville. And so Coahulla Creek, Team 5, ranked number 5, with their shutout at Drew Charter, they advance to take on Team 1, number 1 ranked Pike County. That's the left-hand side of the bracket, and that's going to happen in Zebulon. Right-hand side of the bracket, Morgan County on the girls' side shuts out Miller Grove to start, shut out Murray County in round 2, then went to Columbus and got the win there. So Morgan County, number 2 and number 1. So you've got Morgan County beat Columbus by the score of 2-1. So Morgan County advances, and they're going to take on Savannah Arts. Savannah Arts won at home, shutting out Pierce by the score of 1-0. So Morgan County advances to Savannah Arts. Coahulla Creek goes to Pike County. It is the number 5 ranked team at the number 1 ranked team, the number 4 ranked team at the number 6 ranked team. So once again, Coahulla Creek on the road to Pike County, Morgan County to Savannah Arts. And we'll catch up with Aaron Paul and find out about the Morgan County program across the board coming up in 12:40. So in about a little over 20 minutes. AAA girls, this is another day once again where your quarterfinalists had a lot of offense on the board. Jefferson hosted Dawson County, and Jefferson got the shutout. They advance. They're going to host Cherokee Bluff, who shut out Gilmer's girls. So Cherokee Bluff advances to take on Jefferson, left side of the bracket in AAA. Jefferson, Team 1, ranked number 1. And Molly McCarty, we are trying to track her down so we can have her on the show. This hour is where it's one of the most challenging to get folks to cover for us. So we're going to see if we have to do something maybe in the morning show, early on, 9 o'clock hour, we can catch up with her there, or we can catch up with her on tape and try and run it tomorrow as a part of Soccer's in Session Playoff Daily Live. So it is Cherokee Bluff, ranked number 3, at Jefferson, ranked number 1. Both teams combined for 19 goals yesterday. Cherokee Bluff, 10 on Gilmer, Jefferson, 9 on Dawson County. So Cherokee Bluff is at Jefferson, left-hand side of the bracket. Oconee County, and this is the game that's going to be on the network tomorrow. It's going to be on the mothership. This we do know. It is going to be Oconee County at Whitewater. We've had Oconee County on our air a couple of times already this year. We had Oconee County's opening round playoff matchup against Johnson Gainesville on the air, and that was number 5 hosting number 10. That was the one that had the hour and 20-minute weather delay before we got that one started. Oconee County goes to Sandy Creek, gets the big win. They're going to take on Whitewater. Whitewater shut out Adairsville 6-0. So it is Oconee County at Whitewater, Cherokee Bluff at Jefferson. Cherokee Bluff is ranked number 3, traveling to number 1, Jefferson. And in AAA girls, Oconee County ranked number 5. They've made their way all the way through, and they get to take on Whitewater, who is ranked number 2, number 3, and that is where we are in AAA girls. Now, it is time to advance in our brackets as we sit here and we flip the page to 6A. And why do I say this? Because I have my 6A bracket in my hand. And that way, when I look at the 6A bracket, I sit here and look low right, and that means I get to catch up with a coach that has made it out of the low right section of the bracket. Time to catch up with Megan Hill, the head coach of Buford, and we welcome her to Soccer's in Session Playoff Daily Live. Coach, welcome aboard. Thanks for hopping
by. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Have you had time to catch your breath in the battle of number 1 versus number 2 yet?
Yeah, we were able to catch our breath. We enjoyed that night, and then it was back to business the next day. So here we are, just trying to prepare for the quick 2-day turnaround.
Well, I want to get into that in just a sec, but I want to walk through the playoffs here in just in this first little bit. Shut out Westlake in round number 1. Shut out Cherokee in round number 2. What do you learn about yourself with a club that is nationally ranked, that is winning handily in games like that? What do you learn about yourself in the postseason when you win by such large margins?
Uh, just trying to do those little things right. For us, it was not about can we shut them out and can we beat them by 10 or 7 or whatever. It's more of, is the goals that we are scoring, are they good goals? Are they effective? Where did they begin from? Were we able to get into the attack and have a nice decent shot on goal that ended up being a goal?
If I had told you that you'd be 20-0 right now, ranked number 5 in the country, what would you have told me?
You're crazy. Yeah, we graduated a solid group last year. Solid group of seniors. And coming into this year, to be completely honest, I was a little nervous. We graduated our senior goalkeeper, and we graduated a lot of leadership. And so trying to develop leadership within this team has been kind of the foundation of this year.
So when you get to full song, when do you think that was? When do you think that with all of the absences, bringing in those individuals that you had in those places that you were confident of in your starting 11s most of the time, how long do you think it took for you to get to full song? Okay, we've got something here. I know what we have. When did that level of comfort in quotation marks happen, do you think?
I think that last week of regular season play, it took a long time because to be honest with you, we have not had our full roster since that last since that last regular season game. We had injuries, we've had players leave for ECNL events, we've had El Salvadorian national team. Ava left; she was out for 6 games. So we had not had a complete full roster with being healthy and all of our injuries back and everything since that last regular season week. So that's kind of when I started to realize, like, okay, guys, we might have something here.
When you have freshmen and sophomores step in the way that they have, what's it like to see those underclassmen step up for you and be assertive and be a part of those starting 11s as you go?
Yeah, it's really nice to see. And honestly, we have 1 freshman on varsity right now, and then a handful of sophomores. And the 2 sophomores now that were on varsity last year are making a huge impact for us. But within our program, we try to develop obviously on our JV. One of my assistants, Coach Foy, develops those girls so they know, like, okay, if it's okay to make JV your freshman year, if you can step into that varsity role your sophomore year, that's kind of what she's trying to prepare them for.
When you have the support that you get there at Buford, and I mean that from administration, from athletics across the board, what's it like to walk into a Buford high school every day and try and because the expectation's always there, regardless of what the sport is.
Yes, it is.
What's it like to have the support and the expectations that are there? What's it like to have that yin and yang there?
It's funny because administrative wise, they're more so focused on, can you develop a good person? So they're all about, like, what is your character development like? What are you doing off the field? Honestly, and as you said, it's like everybody on the outside of our bubble is the expectation is to win. And honestly, I think that if you were to walk into Buford High School, I think the expectation starts in the academics and with our dress code and with our no cell phones. And there's a strict expectation there, and that then develops and trickles out onto our fields or our courts or whatever it is. This is the expectation. This is the standard. It's already set. And then, we obviously follow in lieu with those academic teachers. And, if they're not performing academically, they don't play on the fields. So expectations are there. I think us coaches put a lot of pressure on ourselves too, especially coming in. If, this is my 5th year here and the pressure is way different. Not from, administrative standpoint, but for me and for the girls. And I think for us, it's just like, it's all those tiny things that help with that. And it starts when you walk into the building, in the academic building.
Buford survives a matchup with Brookwood, and so what do you get? You get West Forsyth. We'll talk about the Murderers Row on the right-hand side of exactly, the Murderers Row on the right-hand side coming up in a bit. For those that may not know your history, you do have a history of being a head coach in Gwinnett County, but you were also a GA, if I remember correctly, for Jay Entlick down at Columbus State.
Mm-hmm.
What did you learn from Jay? Jay has been a great friend of ours here at the SDH Network when it comes to what he's been building at Columbus State.
Yes.
What did you learn from your time down with Jay? Because, Jay, class act top to bottom with a great program top to bottom. What did you learn with your time down there?
So Jay Entlick, I was a GA, and then he ended up hiring me as his assistant for about 1.5 years until I got into Gwinnett. And Jay Entlick is one of my mentors. If I have an issue, if I have a problem, if I have a question, or I'm questioning myself, he's the first person that I call. And he has been such a mentor to me because of the way that he coaches. He's very direct. He's very straightforward. He does not beat around the bush. And then he also is able to have relationships with those players who respect him. But I think demanding excellence and understanding the game, for me, came a lot from him in that college world. So I'm very, very grateful for Jay. And it's funny that you guys even mentioned his name because I was actually about to call him tomorrow. So, yes.
Well, Jay's great with us when we cover Columbus State in Division II. What's the first lesson that you learned from him that has stuck?
Ooh, that's a great question. I think honestly, developing a quality practice plan and organizing a practice to prepare for the team that you're about to play. But also focusing on solely yourself without focusing too much on the other team, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. And that kind of was leading into my next question. So obviously you're reading my notes.
Yeah, I see them there on your desk.
Yeah, they're all over the place. So because of a quick turn, because of the bracket being the bracket of doom on the right-hand side in 6A, it is insane to see, but that's because of how things are with rotations and regions this time around, that you have West Forsyth, Buford, and Brookwood all on one side of the bracket. Knowing what you know about West Forsyth, do you focus more on yourself because of the quick turn, or do you do some mix or assistants looking, leading into the Brookwood game? Are they looking at who you could be playing? Is somebody watching North Paulding tape, somebody watching West Forsyth tape, or are you focusing on yourself?
Funny you say that. I have a lot of quality assistants, and they will watch some of West Forsyth, but my job is to prepare my team and not focus on West Forsyth. And so we rewatched Brookwood and figured out some things that we maybe didn't do very well. That we could have definitely taken more advantage of. And I think that that's what we have going into West Forsyth is focusing on us, focusing on our game plan, getting my girls' mindset right, and making sure that, they're not going to forget how to play soccer in a day. So, and that's also what Jay Entlick taught me, that you also have to focus on the mental aspect of things too. And with girls, that's extremely significant, especially with that 2-day turnaround. So we were doing a lot of mental mindset stuff yesterday, and then today we'll be back out on the field and getting ready, preparing for that.
And it should be a packed house of around 1,200 again. It's a great environment that has been created there at Buford for the sports that are the spring sports, the ones that aren't the marquee sports there,
Yes.
but the ones that are garnering attention. So when someone tries to find their way into the venue, perhaps they get a ticket and they're trying to find a place to sit when West Forsyth comes to town, who should they gravitate toward and who will they gravitate toward in that starting 11? If things are going well for you against West Forsyth, who will the audience be gravitating toward in your starting 11?
Oh gosh. So that is a tough one to answer because so many of my girls are
all 11 of them. Just go ahead.
And liked by all of our faculty and staff. I think every single person yesterday, all of my players have said, like, Coach Hill, everybody's asking me and talking to me about the games. Like, and I said, yeah, because they care about you. And it's funny because, like, I don't know, you always get your goal scorers and, there's not a lot of credit given to the back line and kind of what they solidify and hold down for us. But, obviously you got to score goals to win. So whoever scores the goals first, I think, they'll obviously have that crowd rally around them. But honestly, I can't, the defense is solid for us too. So it's kind of an even keel.
And so let's talk about that defense. You've only given up, and it's brought to us by the number 9, by the way. Goals scored 99. So the next one that gets scored is goal 100 for you on the season. You've only given up 9 in 20 matches. So to have a keeper, a keeper step in, to have the back line be what they are, and it is difficult to get around and through that back line of yours with the back four when it's locked in place the way that it was specifically against Brookwood. Brookwood was having problems. There were a couple of opportunities that they had in transitions where there were turnovers in the middle third, but your back four and your keeper have been incredibly solid this year. What's it been like to see them shine?
It's nice. I have a assistant that works, focuses specifically on the defense. And then we have coaches that specifically work with our attacking third. And so she's been working with them, getting their mindset right and understanding, like, being able to protect when one steps out of position, the other one covers. So we call our back line like the onion. There's a lot of layers within our back line, even though there's only 4 of them. And so, even my middle third, my center mids know, if you get beat, you've got to protect the onion. So we have to make sure that is always protected. We are always layered in behind, and we don't get caught out of position too much.
All right, so it is West Forsyth at Buford after surviving Brookwood, number 1 and number 2 in the rankings. Guess what? Number 3 is coming to town. Lay it all out for us for folks who are going to be trying to get a ticket to get into the building. The when, the how. Let everybody know how they can go see some quality soccer when you get to host West Forsyth this time around.
So we, first of all, I hate rankings. Let me just go ahead and throw that out there. Because that's all it is about, is the rankings. And really, it's just a coach's group just looking at schedules, strength of schedule, and this, and rankings. Anyways, I'll put that plug in there for you. But the game, for sure, we'll have our back gate open as well with our a ticket taker there. There was only one gate open last time, so there will be 2 entrances, one for the away fans to come in, and then obviously one for our home fans to come in. So but gates will be open an hour before kickoff, and it's going to be a great environment. And I think that there's going to be a lot of bodies up close to the fence, yelling and screaming. It's a different environment than a massive stadium environment. Everybody's very close. It's very intimate. And, hopefully we can hope for the best.
All right. What time is kick?
Kickoff's at 6:00.
All right. So it's another dinner time kick there at Buford, going up against West Forsyth. After getting through Brookwood, you're now survivor of your bracket, your low right bracket, your quadrant, and now you get West Forsyth. Great to see you the other day for the Brookwood match. Great to have you come on the show and go get some lunch and have a great match against West Forsyth. Great to see you.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
You bet. Megan Hill, the head coach at Buford. and she's got West Forsyth. I mean, literally, you look at the 6A bracket, and it's like you look at it and you're going, okay, 3 nationally ranked teams, 3 in the top 5 nationally. They get paired on the right-hand side, but once again, it has to do with the rota. I don't know. Maybe there should be some math in future years when it comes to things like this, to where you have these teams playing later, not like last round, quick turn, but later. Just saying. Anyway, so West Forsyth and Buford, that matchup, 6 o'clock on the Buford campus. And remember, and I learned this too. It is not at Tom Ryden. It is on the new campus at the high school, where they have a back-to-back press box that can watch 2 matches at any given time. So if like lacrosse is going on and soccer is going on, or you have practice and you need to have it shot, it literally is back-to-back. It is a back-to-back press box and fields that are neighboring each other. So the soccer stadium has football goalposts, so you can have multiple teams practicing and doing things more than one group at a time. But on the new campus, that's where it is. It's not up the hill, hang a left and go up the hill to Tom Ryden on the grass surface. It is on the new campus. So if you're going, get your tickets ahead of time. If you're going, go early so you can find a place to park. Full disclosure, I made a place to park because I got there like right before kickoff because I had to have the battery replaced on my car. You remember that. So West Forsyth and Buford, 6 o'clock, 6A. Other semifinal is Lambert at Walton. Lambert ranked number 6, 10-9 in PKs against Mill Creek. Goalless after 80, 90, and 100. And it ended up Lambert getting the win, 10-9 in PKs. They go to Walton. Walton went to Harrison, shut out the Hoyas 1-0. So it is at number 6 Lambert, at number 5 Walton, and it is number 3 West Forsyth, at number 2 Buford. That's 6A girls. Going backwards, Quad A girls, Cambridge and Marist. Cambridge shut out Walnut Grove by the score of 5-0. They travel to Stadler Field as Marist beat Stars Mill by the score of 4-1. So Cambridge, your number 2 seed out of Region 6, ranked number 4, takes on Marist, the number 2 ranked team in Quad A, region champ out of Region 5, left-hand side of the bracket. BT goes to Allatoona because, once again, remember, if you are in your brackets and you're the same seed, coin flip that was held down in Thomaston with the GHSA goes to the lower half. So Blessed Trinity beat St. Pius 2-1 in the battle of number 1 and number 6 off of Highway 9 and Holcomb Bridge, which I think turns into Alpharetta Road at that point. I think once you clear Highway 9 and you're heading toward Roswell, it's just past Roswell High School. So BT travels to Allatoona. Allatoona beat North Oconee in a back-and-forth affair. 7 goals scored. Allatoona got 4 of them. So Allatoona goes to North Oconee, gets the win in Watkinsville. Then they now host, because they're the region champ, number 5 ranked team in the scoreboard rankings. BT ranked number 1. So Cambridge, it's number 4 at number 2. BT, it's number 1 at number 5, Allatoona. Cambridge at Marist. BT is at Allatoona. 5A girls. It is Greenbrier traveling to Northgate and Pope going to number 1 Roswell. Lassiter went to Greenbrier. Greenbrier got the win 1-0. So Greenbrier is your Region 1 champ, unranked, has made it all the way to the Final Four. We've seen Greenbrier and Rob Husted as early as the Creek Cup this year. And we'll see if we can figure out where Rob might be as he's heading to Northgate tomorrow. My guess is he might be on the bus. Then, so Greenbrier unranked. They've had their entire bracket at home. And now they have to go to Northgate. Northgate beat Loganville 5-1. So ranked number 6, your Region 3 champ, is hosting Greenbrier, your region champ out of Region 1, left-hand side in 5A. Right-hand side, Pope and Roswell. Pope shuts out Alexander 3-0. So the number 2 ranked Pope, Region 6 champ, travels to Roswell. Roswell, ranked number 1, Region 7 champ, beat the Region 8 champ, Hab Central, who is ranked number 8, 4-1. So 5A girls, to wrap up the girls' side of things, Greenbrier at Northgate, Pope at Roswell. So that's your rundown of the girls' brackets, and all of that action is tomorrow, unless there is a scheduling question or there is something else that is a part of all of that discussion. and you get to find out literally where things go. All right. It is time to check in. Now, let's see. Last time he was here, Coach Aaron Paul was in a law class. And so last time he was here, he was in law class. And we'll check in with Aaron and find out if he is still, as a matter of fact, in law class, or if he has stolen himself away to yet another location. And we get to find out where he may be hiding and find out what's going on out at Morgan County. We bring in Aaron Paul to the conversation. So are you hiding?
Can you see me?
Not yet.
All right, hold on.
Get to turn the camera on if you wish.
There we go.
There he is. Okay.
Sorry, I am still in law class actually. So
okay. All right. So what's the lesson today in law class?
They're finishing their test on constitutional law. So picking 10 cases from 10 different categories of constitutional law. So executive power, legislative power, judicial power, state power, checks and balances type stuff, foundations. They're just picking one of 10 cases from different categories and kind of summarizing it. So,
okay. So which one of those 10 categories would apply itself to what Morgan County has been able to do on the pitch this season? Checks and balances?
Yeah, probably checks and balances. You're probably looking at like a judicial review, Marbury versus Madison case. Something that says we can do this, but also you can't do this. So, I would say that one probably.
Okay, so when you look at what has been going on this season on campus, if we had the conversation once again, beginning of the year, if we had been talking about the programs and the growth there at Morgan County, and you would have seen the list of accomplishments and successes to get to this point, what would you have told me about the growth of the program on the whole?
I think at the beginning of the season, I would say it's been tremendous growth over the last decade. I mean, I remember when I interviewed in June of 2014, I student taught and graduated from Georgia in the fall of 13. And I student taught at North Gwinnett High School. And I didn't coach anything when I was student teaching just because I was commuting from Athens to Sewanee and back and taking my class. And the spring of 14, they actually hired me to teach like 2 classes at North Gwinnett. So I helped with spring football practice a little bit, but then summer hit and it was kind of like, all right, what are we going to do with a job? And where's a job going to be? And one of my classmates student taught at Morgan and he said they had an opening. So I applied and interviewed and our former athletic director, Steve Sisson, who passed away last year, gave me the opportunity of a lifetime to come in. And I remember saying then, looking at kind of Morgan County soccer up until that point, and knew that there was interest in the community. We have a club team in town. We're back. This used to be when RISA was really big in Rockdale, and then Athens is so close. I knew there was a lot of potential and interest. And I remember saying in the interview, we have to focus on winning our region games. We got to put ourselves in a situation to compete for region championships to give ourselves a chance in the playoffs. Well, fast forward, we've won 5 region championships in a row. I think I've won 7 in 10 years or 11 seasons. And then I know like my senior class right now who just finished are 30-4 in region play in 4 years. So I would say, we accomplished that goal. And then we've been able to put ourselves in playoff contention, making multiple Sweet 16s, a couple of Elite 8s. We had the number 1 seed this year. So we're relevant. I think we've made ourselves relevant. And I'm big on consistency. We're consistently in the region conversation, consistently knocking on that door in the playoffs. And so I think that's huge. I would much rather be consistent like we are year to year instead of like being one and done, win a state championship and then you're just kind of all over the place. And so I think consistency has been big for us.
And then what's it been like to see the region grow? And we can take it 2 ways. The region lowercase r, with what you're able to see with club and devotion to resources and that kind of a thing. And then region capital R, where the teams in middle Georgia, they're coming up the ladder. Jackson has done really well. I don't know if I'm supposed to mention the J word in this conversation when it comes to the boys' side or not, but Jackson and Pike and Callaway and you guys, I mean, you guys are knocking each other around like it's a battle royal every week. To see the region where you're growing the Morgan County program, to see that grow, and then capital R region where you guys are making deep runs and taking each other out.
Well, and then you left a couple out, like just down the road, Lake Oconee Academy's going to the Final Four.
Yeah.
They're a small school, but they're right there with it. Putnam County, a couple of years, our neighbor next door, they've been doing really well as well. So, I mean, the region is Central Georgia is just really kind of taken off in terms of soccer. I think a lot of that's population growth because you're seeing a lot of people moving, like that I-20 corridor is spreading out, from Augusta all the way, to the west side of the state. So I think it's fun to watch. Like, we built this huge soccer complex in Morgan County with our rec department. You have all these soccer fields in Oconee up the road. Putnam's got soccer fields everywhere. It's just growing. So it's just, and I think Atlanta United is a big part of. There always was a soccer sense, but when Atlanta United came to Atlanta, I think it really just kind of gave the soccer community kind of like an anchor in the state. And then it just kind of spreads out from there. And it's fun to watch. It's a great sport. I mean, we had, for ball boys, for our first round playoff game, we had some elementary school kids that play on the club team in town come ball boy for us, which was awesome. They wanted to come support the guys team. So I think it's awesome. And then in terms of like the region play, I feel like we've been yanked around geographically because last 4 years we were going to Augusta. Now we're going all the way to the West Georgia. And I drove our girls team to Columbus on Tuesday because we worked really close with our girls program. So I drove them to Columbus on Tuesday. And I was like, I feel like I've made this drive before this season like 5 times, going through Monticello, Forsyth, passing through Jackson kind of stuff. And then, we're coming up 185 late Tuesday night. And I was like, there's the LaGrange exit. And I was like, I've been there a couple times this year, I think the region, Callaway's a really good program overall, respected. They have been good. Pike County, we've kind of been chasing each other like in the rankings. We haven't played them since like 2014 season until this year. And then Jackson, we actually played Jackson in the first round of the playoffs like 2 or 3 years ago and beat them. And so Jackson's really on the rise.
I mean, you look at, and it's you, it's Sean Guillory, it's Mike Petit at Callaway.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's guys, it's coaches that understand that, for lack of a better phrase, you're in a growth market. And if you hit things the right way and there's the attention to detail and the attention to the program from the community and from the school, that you can do some really good things across the board. And I think that, you guys in that region on the whole, I mean, what's going on in Zebulon with Justin, you guys are really doing some great work. But I have half a mind to sit there and think that they might have had you drive the Yellowhound because you knew that route to get to Columbus.
Yeah, I'm taking them to Savannah. I'm taking our girls to Savannah tomorrow. So they said they won that game, so I got to drive them back. So our principal let me off to drive them. So that'll be a late night. But yeah, it's coaching against like Justin and Sean and those guys and Mike have been. It's going to be a good game. It's going to be a good battle back and forth. And man, we're still licking our wounds from the Jackson game. I don't know if you know the details of it, but it was 0-0 at half. We knew it was going to be a close game. We've kind of struggled offensively all year to put it in the back of the net. Like our defensive possession in midfield was great, and then we get it to the attacking third, and it was just like, all right, we got to finish. 0-0 at half. I told the guys halftime, we just got to finish. And I knew they could do this because they did it in their first round game. Jackson hit a free kick off of a foul call just outside the box, and it was one of the best kicks I've ever seen. I mean, it just goes over the wall. Over our keeper's really tall, goes over his hands at the back of the net. It was upper 90, just ridiculous. I mean, everybody was like, wow, that was a good shot. And then we had a little bit of Jackson's got some speed, and where they have speed, I don't in some spots, and they took advantage of it on a quick counterattack, and it was a foot race, and I just knew we weren't going to be able to stop them. So they go up 2-0. Game gets a little chippy towards the end. we get a fast break, go. They actually tackle us in the box, draw a PK. We kick the PK, make it 2-1. There's probably 15 minutes left. About 10 minutes left. One of my midfielders mouths off to the refs, gets a red card. So we're down a guy. And I had switched to a 3-5-2 at that point. I was like, all right, we're in damage control. We got to score. And we had a lot of pressure on them. And I was confident. I was like, we're going to tie this game. We're going to tie this game. But then when we got the red card, it just kind of sucked the life out, you know. And I'm happy for Jackson and what they've been able to accomplish and get to the Elite Eight. That's a huge accomplishment. And the other thing too is people don't realize you can win region championships and you can win region games and you can win all these games. You can be the number 1 seed, but when it gets to the playoffs, it becomes survival, staying healthy. Anything can happen, and it is extremely. People are like, "Oh, we're so good, we got to win a state championship." It's like, do you not understand how hard that is? I mean, you're more likely to become an astronaut or something than to try to win a state championship in a sport. I mean, it's just unbelievably difficult. And, you know, I've talked to some other coaches. Like, I haven't talked to Wesleyan's coach, but my sister-in-law teaches at Wesleyan, and he was telling her with the power ranking system that it used to be that winning a region championship is supposed to make winning a state championship just a little bit easier. It's supposed to make your path just a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Not in power rankings. I mean, if you looked at the bracket and kind of who was where and things like that, like number 1 seed didn't necessarily mean you had an easier path to it. So that's new as well. And it's not an excuse, but it's different.
Yeah.
But it's hard. It is hard. And I hate it for my seniors. I'm still tore up licking our wounds. I mean, I can't hardly talk to the guys. I'm taking up equipment and stuff. And we didn't expect to lose in the second round. You know, that was a kind of a shock for us. So.
Well, and I mean, you look at I grabbed your bracket. So here's your bracket.
Yeah.
In your quadrant, you have Pike, and Jackson in your quadrant. 1, 16, and 17 in your quadrant, considering what your region was like.
Mm-hmm. And they're not 16 and 17.
No.
To be honest with you. And like East Jackson, we played first round. They were the 32. They are not. East Jackson is not a 32 seed. There's no way. They played a tough schedule. They're not a 32. Like they should be a 16 or a 17. And Jackson and Pike should be in the top 8, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy, you know. So, and then like last night, Coahuila and Columbus are playing. I watched part of that game. I mean, that borderline has been the state championship game in the past, you know. So, and that was an Elite Eight game. So.
Yeah, and you had that this year. Coahuila Creek at Team 5, Columbus at Team 4, and then if you we had Megan Hill from Buford on, the girls coach before you, and she's not a fan of rankings, you know, like top 10s and things.
Uh-huh.
If you go by top 10s and look at your lower right quadrant, just as an example. Crisp is ranked at number 10. Hart and Callaway played each other in the opening round. Hart was ranked number 7 at Team 23. Callaway was ranked number 3 at Team 10. So Mike Petit had to host the number 7 ranked team in the state at Team 23 in the opening round. And then Tattnall County, who's listed as Team 2 in the power rankings, is listed number 9 in the rankings. Mm-hmm. All of them were low right to go with the math that you're talking about.
Tattnall County came up here and beat us in the second round, like my second year making the playoffs or something like that. Tattnall's been really good the last few years. They've been knocking on that door. It's tough. It's got everybody says, oh, you dropped to AA. It should be a little easier. And you know, because like our volleyball team and softball teams won state championship this year. So everybody's kind of looking like, all right, soccer, y'all been making noise. Like you drop down a class, all these other sports. Our girls basketball makes it to the Final Four. And from day one, people are like, man, soccer's going to win a state championship. And I'm like, whoa, hold on a second. Hold on. Y'all need to calm down. And I don't know if I told you this earlier in this year, but I lost 3 starters to club ball this season. 3 guys that started on my Elite 8 team last year. So I had to fill those gaps. One of them left before the season. So we kind of knew that ahead of time. But then I had 2 more leave after we started region play. So we had to patch that up and fix that, you know, which was tough.
That's crazy.
All three of which one of them would have been the goal scorer. 2 other ones would have been critical players and starters, you know. So
My last question for you. Thanks for hanging out again this week while you're watching testing. So, what is the game plan for the departure for Savannah Arts tomorrow? Since you are apparently behind the wheel, what's the deal?
We're going to leave after first period with the girls. This is the first time any soccer team in Morgan County's made it to the Final Four, so it's a big deal for us. Coach Stamps Ann's been coaching us she did it a year before I got here, so we've just been together like the whole time. But Ann's from Morgan County. She used to coach softball here. She actually won 3 state championships as a softball coach a while ago. So it's the first time any of our teams have made it beyond the Elite Eight, which is cool. So we're going to leave right after first period around between 9:30 and 10. I think we're going to go to Dublin, eat, and then finish the trip to Savannah, get there. I think the game is at 5 o'clock.
Okay.
So, which is good. So we can get an early start and then turn around and come back after the game is over. I know our girls were doing ice baths yesterday. I got it set up for them, and they've been watching a lot of film. And, I think our girls are peaking at the right time, because if you'd have told me, they're in the region with Pike, who's their Pike's girls are, they may take the whole thing.
Yeah.
And so they're a testament to you don't necessarily have to win region to get this far. It may actually help you. And so the girls, if you'd have told me they were going to make it to the Final Four a month ago, I'd have been like, ooh, I don't know. Because we had some injuries when we started the playoffs. We had 3 starters out with injuries. So for our girls team, so it's about surviving.
Yep. Ranked number 4 on the girls' side, team number 7, traveling to Savannah Arts, who is ranked number 6, and team number 3. We're talking to the head of transportation for the girls soccer team tomorrow, Aaron Paul on the boys' side. Great run for you guys' team, top-ranked team in Class AA boys. Go and finish up the testing. Make sure that everybody has everything pointed in the right direction when it comes to states' rights and what the Constitution says and all that kind of stuff. We might have you come back next week to do some scouting for us in AA when the championship is named.
Okay.
And just to kind of break things down for us as our AA expert, and just have you talk about all the other championships that you might keep an eye on as well. You're developing into one of our experts here on the Noon Show.
Don't call me an expert yet. I got to learn that title. Hey, I saw your email about Morgan County gear. I'll send you some stuff. So
that would be epic. Just let me know where and when, and we'll figure it out. And it will be shown. It will be shown here in the office.
Nice.
And it will be here in Office HD. And the boss will probably take the Morgan County gear, and she will probably end up wearing it around the state, and it turns into an instant conversation piece. I know how it goes. The stuff ends up with her first, and I might get the chance to wear it. But fantastic stuff that you're doing this season down there. Great work by you and Coach Stamps to get to deep playoff runs. Can't thank you enough for dropping by the Noon Show. Enjoy the rest of your coffee and enjoy the rest of the testing. Get out of there. Safe drive tomorrow as you get ready for the trip to Savannah. Aaron, it's always great to see you, my friend.
You too. Thank you, John.
All right, there goes Aaron Paul. And Aaron Paul is in charge of transportation for Morgan County as they head to Savannah Arts tomorrow on the girls' side. Aaron's team number 1, top ranked on the boys' side, Class AA boys, to find out. And what I wanted to do, I wanted to bring Aaron on to kind of talk about the boys' side and how tough it was, considering that Jackson has made the run, talk about his region play, all of that kind of stuff to get you ready for tomorrow. So once again, girls semis tomorrow. Before we get out of here, once again, we'll break it all down for you. Class A D1, it is Social Circle at Bremen. Great to catch up with Heather Richardson and find out what's going on as they get ready to travel. Model is at Ace Charter. Class A D2, Atlanta Classical is going to Osceola to take on Irwin County on the left-hand side. Aaron mentioned Lake Oconee Academy. LOA is traveling to Tryon. That's 2 heavyweights on the right-hand side. We mentioned AA. Class AA Region 2, it is Coahulla Creek, Team 5, ranked number 5, heading to Pike County to take on Zebulon, number 1, ranked team number 1 in the overall. Morgan County and Savannah Arts is on the right-hand side. That's AA. AAA, it is Jefferson hosting Cherokee Bluff, number 1 hosting number 3 in the rankings, Team 13 going to team number 1. Oconee County traveling to Whitewater. That matchup will be on the network tomorrow. So we will be at Whitewater for Whitewater and Oconee County, and it'll be great to see Judson Hamby, team ranked number 5, going to Whitewater. They are ranked number 2. Team 15 travels to team number 3 in the power rankings. In Quad A, it is Cambridge traveling to Marist. So it is the number 2 seed out of Region 6, ranked number 4, traveling to the Region 5 champ, ranked number 2. Blessed Trinity traveling to Alatoona. BT is ranked number 1 as your Region 6 champ, traveling to Alatoona. Region 7 champ, ranked number 5. 5A, it is Greenbrier traveling to Northgate. Greenbrier, unranked, region champ out of Region 1, just kind of quietly going about their business as the region champ, had all of their playoff wins at home. They go to Northgate, who is your Region 3 champ, ranked number 6. Right-hand side of the bracket, Pope travels to number 1, Roswell. Pope ranked number 2, Region 6 champ. Roswell ranked number 1, Region 7 champ. And in 6A, Lambert to Walton. Lambert, your number 2 out of Region 6. They are ranked number 6. Travels to Walton, your Region 5 champ, ranked number 5. And then West Forsyth and Buford. Great to have Megan Hill on the show, and got to catch up with her about Jay Entlick. I was glad I was able to ask that question about who's on the speed dial. And as it turns out, it's Jay. So she's going to catch up with Jay Entlick. West Forsyth and Buford. Heavyweights again on the Buford campus. Go early to get a place to park. You're going to be taking some steps unless you're in that first parking lot that's right next to the facility. And get your tickets early, because anticipate at least 1,200 people, if not more, for that soccer match on campus. Brookwood traveled for the matchup against Buford that was on the network. West Forsyth is going to travel for the matchup against Buford at Buford once again tomorrow. So that's your 6A girls, and that's your breakdown of all of the girls' matchups. Tomorrow, once again, we'll review the girls. We'll get you set up for the boys on your Thursday and let you know what else is going on. So here's your midweek. Girls tomorrow, boys on Friday. We're going to piece it all together for you here on Thursday and Friday. Soccer is in session. Playoff Daily Live, presented by our friends at Kaiser Permanente. Thanks for dropping by. Thanks to the coaches at Social Circle, Buford, and Morgan County. And thanks to all of you guys for hanging out with us and watching. And we break it all down here with your brackets every single day that we can break it down with our brackets here on the SDH network. So back at it again, 9:05 Eastern with SDH AM. Looks like tomorrow morning at 9:30, it's going to be Max Anderson, play-by-play voice for the Chicago Fire, joining us before the power hour of Nino and Nico. Nino Torres, Nino Damas coming in to talk about Champions League, talk about Portugal, talk about Libertadores, and then Nico Moreno joining us at 10:30 to break down everything going on in Major League Soccer from the Pacific perspective. Friday, once again, getting you ready for the weekend, and we're probably going to have some visitors at 9:30 and or 10 o'clock. And then tomorrow it is Soccer is in Session Playoff Daily. And then Friday it's going to be Soccer is in Session Playoff Daily. And we'll break it all down for you there. So for everybody here at SDH, thanks to the coaches and thanks to you. Mucho plati, all play it safe. And since it is the end of the show, that means we get to do this. We'll be back at it again tomorrow, 9:05 Eastern. Have fun. Play it safe.